Happy Sunday. It's wonderful to be back on the Jaden Show. I'm going to introduce you to somebody super wonderful, super talented in not so long a time. But I think first, let's go and watch a bit of this young lady in action. This is Emily Deranged. This song is Hate Me.
If I could love you better, would that help? I always swear you walk just to reach out. Go ahead, say it's dramatic, can't I tell? It's 2 a.m., been a week since you called me. I'm drunk enough for the both of us so I can't see. Am I fucked up, or am I just another one loving you? Feels like I hate me. Where do you go every time I fall asleep? You're only into me when you're underneath. Did I fuck up, or am I just another one loving you? Feels like I hate me. Chasing me for being easy to deceive. Feels like I should've known better. Don't you agree? You're being more than just a tease when you ghost all over like the last time. The hotel, you told me you were sorry. Go to hell. It's 2 a.m., been a week since you called me. I'm drunk enough for the both of us so I can't see. Am I fucked up, or am I just another one loving you? Feels like I hate me. Where do you go every time I fall asleep? You're only into me when you're underneath. Did I fuck up, or am I just another one loving you? Feels like I hate me. Loving you 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 feels like. It's 2 a.m., been a week since you called me. I'm drunk enough for the both of us so I can't see. Am I fucked up, or am I just another one loving you? Feels like I hate me. Where do you go every time I fall asleep? You're only into me when you're underneath. Did I fuck up, or am I just another one loving you? Feels like I hate me.
Now, I know you are probably desperate for the introduction, but you're going to have to wait a couple of seconds more because it's time to go to a Jaden Show commercial break. Hey guys, I wanted to take this opportunity to let you know about the Jaden Show commercial break starting now. This is amazing news because now every single week you have a couple of minutes to be able to advertise something you want to advertise. So if you have a business, if you have an event coming up, if you have a new album, art gallery, or anything you want to particularly advertise on the show, this is your chance to do it. March and April 2024, the advertisements are free, so please let me know. Get in touch to me on Jaden Cornelious at AOL.com. It will be wonderful to hear from you. If you are a charity or a charitable organization or a non-profit and you are advertising something with regards to that, then always your advertising is free. So let me know. You will need to send me between a 1 and 2 minute video around that time, if possible, something that you want to advertise, and I will fit it into this spot. Get on. I'll see you soon. Take care, buddy. I'm not going to leave you any longer. We're going to go and meet Emily. So please welcome this week's incredibly special guest, the amazing Emily Deranged. Emily Deranged, welcome to the Jaden Show. How are you doing, lovely?
Hello, Jaden. It is so wonderful to be here. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
All the way at the moment from Nashville, Tennessee, but not originally from Nashville, Tennessee. Where is Minnie Deranged from?
I am from Cambridge, Massachusetts. So I'm a Northerner. I'm a Yankee. I'm not from the South. I make sure everybody knows that.
Because I'm a Brit, and even though I'm on the same side of the pond now, which is still getting my head around after a decade, I'm not very good with in the United States geography. So how far are you? I mean, how far did you emigrate from where you started?
It's like a 20-hour drive.
Really? Bloody hell.
Yeah.
That's like another country almost then.
Yeah. Yes. Compared to the way Europe is set up, from what I understand, it's like another 5 countries, probably.
Yeah, probably. I find it really
in Europe standards.
From Mexico City to Cancun is probably about the same distance as London to Barcelona, but so I find the whole thing kind of a little bit, wow, man, this is huge. I thought England was big, but now like living in Mexico, I'm like, wow, man, you could travel for hours and still not be out of state.
Yeah, you could travel for hours and not need a passport.
Yeah, amazing. So where do you have a preference? Did you like being? I mean, we're not going to piss anyone off here. Just this is all about personal preferences. Did you prefer being up north, or are you feeling best place down south?
I am always going to be a New Englander at heart, but I actually really love Nashville. There was a lot of culture shock, admittedly. Like the North and the South in the U.S. are very different culturally. But the music scene is so amazing down here, and I've met so many wonderful friends and collaborators. So I've really been enjoying my time. I love it down here a lot.
How long have you been there for?
5 years.
Wow. Okay, so enough time to adjust and kind of put your feelers out and feel like home, right?
Yeah, like if I were going to visit you in Mexico and people asked me where I was from, I would probably say Nashville now rather than Boston.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
So, I know, it's a big change.
Let's take you back to when you're mini deranged and you're kind of listening to music, you're in the family setting. How did you kind of realize that music was the thing for you? What were you like as a kid?
It was a fairly easy realization. Both of my parents are very musical. They didn't do music for a living, but my mom always wanted to do musical theater and was very adamant about bringing me to musical theater productions when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. And my dad is a music production nerd, and he had a band in high school. He kind of looked like Joey Ramone. Looking at old photos of him is pretty fun. Yeah. And he set up a recording studio in the basement, and I guess I would just naturally start singing because my parents played music all the time. A fun fact is that they almost exclusively listen to queer bands from Quebec, like French Canadian queer music, like Katie Lane and the McGonagals. So they would just play all that all of the time. And I guess at one point they figured my singing didn't suck. And they were always encouraging of it too. Like I would sing in the grocery store, really loudly, and they were never shaming about it. Mm-hmm. And my dad started encouraging me to just record random stuff in the basement, and he got me my first guitar. So it was a very gentle but also kind of obvious thing of like, I love doing this and I love music, and I very thankfully had the support at home of like, let's try this, let's see what happens.
Wow, amazing. And did you succumb to the musical theatre vibe, or did you kind of stay a little bit more rocky or retro? Or I mean, did your mum's persuasion work?
I definitely enjoy it. I tried it a little bit in high school. I was in our production of Hairspray. I was the girl that gets pregnant and has to leave for 9 months.
Okay.
So I have that really funny line of like, I'm going to be gone for 9 months. But that was as far as my musical theater career
Okay, so
went. I like it as a bystander, not as a participant necessarily.
right. So how did your taste of music develop?
I basically liked whatever my dad didn't want me to like. He was very into the Beatles, and like, you should like, really wanted me to like what he was into, and I very naturally gravitated towards pop and like whatever was like more natural for me to hear in like the late 90s and early 2000s. Like Britney Spears was one of them. My dad was also a wedding DJ, so he had a ton of albums. He had so many albums, so I would just take them and like listen to them.
Well,
Dion was one too.
Bloody months to get an album, so you were doing all right. You had
I know. I was a really lucky kid for, you know, someone who was into music, just because of what my dad was doing and what his profession was. But in 2002, I fell in love with Avril Lavigne, and that kind of really curbed the early 2000s pop punk era for me. And I started writing songs around that time too. So all of my stuff is, you know, is very much influenced by that era. It's like a modern take of that era, I like to say.
Did your family, when you started writing songs, was your dad like, right, let's get that down, let's put it down? Or was it kind of a very personal thing that you didn't really share at the time?
My parents were very supportive of me writing songs, but I didn't want to record any of them right away. And my mom was always really confused because I think I had a better memory when I was a kid, because I could write down my lyrics and remember exactly how the melody was supposed to go. And my mom did not understand that. She was like, you're going to forget that. And I was like, no, I'm not. And then I didn't. I mean, I have now. Like, you know, all those childhood songs are like gone from my memory. But at the time, I felt like kind of a vault.
Oh, that's really impressive. I had the old dictaphone where I'd have to think of this, and I'd have to go like, na, 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 with the occasional word put in for the songs. Just like, I'm gonna forget it. Yeah, I had to carry a dictaphone because I'm a lot older actually. I had to carry a dictaphone around with me in the car and just like hum little bits of tunes that I had. That was nothing like you. Not that bloody forthcoming.
I don't actually. Oh, sorry. Continue.
No, I said I wasn't that forthcoming with my talent. I had to quickly get it down on a dictaphone before I bloody forgot.
I don't even know what that is. A Victor phone?
A dictaphone.
A dictaphone. Yeah, I don't.
Oh, mate. Google it. It's probably in some ancient museum or something. It's like a Walkman, but rather than listening, you press record and you speak into it with a cassette.
Interesting. Oh, wow. It's a cassette thing. Okay.
Yeah. So that was really, I mean, you can get computerized like note takers now, but a dictaphone was like, it was like almost like the reverse of a Walkman. You didn't listen, you could hear what you put on there, but it was actually to record. So I had to kind of press play and record and kind of just sing as I'm driving with that little bit of melody that I had in my head with the one words that came in as well. And that was how I created a lot of my writing. But because I wasn't as gifted as you by getting home and thinking, I've got that shit down. Don't worry about it, man. We're good.
Well, I do that now. I'm always using fucking voice memo when I'm driving, when I'm walking. I'm like, oh, wait.
So Avril Lavigne, was this when you thought, I want to become a singer, I want to become an artist? Or was it just like, this is a hobby, I really like singing? Like,
I have wanted to be an artist or in music for as long as I can remember. The first thought I had was, I want to say I was like 6 or 7 and listening to Britney Spears. And I was like, I want to be Britney Spears' backup singer. And my mom actually, which this is a testament to like her amazing support, was like, why do you need to be in the back?
Wow.
Like you can do it on your own. Like you don't need to be her person. And I was like, oh, okay.
We could have worked together because I always wanted to be her backing singer.
We could have, yeah. So yeah, always wanted to sing and do music. But the way that has looked has evolved a little bit. But it was never a question. It was never like, oh, I just do this for fun. It's like, no, I'm passionate about this, which means I have to do it all the time.
So
which means I'm gonna have to make money from it somehow.
And that's never easy, even less now.
No.
People say, oh, you're a musician. I said, yeah, which means I've got no money. So if you're sending me anything, don't bother.
Yep. I have no money, but I have a lot of fun.
Lots of animals and a musician, mate. That is the recipe of disaster.
Yes. Oh God, I've already started my collection. I have 3 animals right now.
Yeah, it's a rocky road, just like tattoos. Once you get one.
Yep. Tattoos, pets, plants.
Yeah.
Too many of them.
I think we might be related. And Britney Spears is backing singers. That's amazing.
Maybe. I'm English, so.
Are you?
Yeah, my mom is English.
Wow,
Mostly.
where are you
from? Well,
we're good. We're just chatting. So where?
I shouldn't have said that actually, because when I say English, I mean like they came over on the Mayflower in like the 1600s. So very, very far removed. Like she's ethnically English, like she is of English heritage, but very American.
Oh, bless them. Well, that's the bit we like about her, right?
Yeah. So, but maybe in the 1600s we had the same family, and mine just left.
I've just started my ancestry.com, and I'm already back to 1500. So. I'll have to let you know, just in case I'll let you know all the surnames that are included.
Yeah, I might be there. You don't know.
Absolutely not. The only closest I never became Britney Spears is backing singer, because I was kind of doing my own thing in the 90s as well. But I recorded some songs. Actually, if you listen to them, you could pretty much just put Britney's vocal on and it's a Britney track. It's like, oh baby, baby. But I was working with the same production group, the Max Martin group out in Sweden. So as Backstreet Boys were leaving, I went in, and then when I left, Britney went in. So I never met her, but that was as close as I got, because she probably shared my mic. That's as close.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
What was it like?
It's actually cool. I've done 4 songs with them, and it's actually I kind of listened to them the other day and thought I should bloody release these just on bloody Spotify. They're wicked, like pop tunes, old 90s classics. So yeah, that might be my plan. But that's as close to Britney as I got.
What was it like working with Max?
He's based in Stockholm, and I was with an offshoot of them based in Gothenburg.
Oh, okay.
It was, I think at the moment I just come out of a boy girl pop group that were doing really, really well, but we had like bad management and we went a bit sour. And I think I was so desperate to kind of get back to the level that I'd achieved in the group as a solo artist, that I kind of almost forgot. I was like, I've got to do this well, and I've got to get them out because record companies got it. And I think it was kind of a bit more like that, rather the desperation of getting myself back to the level I thought that I was at, and making it was more important than actually smelling the flowers of my journey. Think about, God, like Backstreet had just left, and oh my God, look what I'm working with. Back in the 90s was a different, like now I have to pay people to record my voice. Back in the 90s, people say, oh, Jaden, we want Jaden to put down our track. Jaden's got to put down our track. It was completely different vibe. And it's not that I took it for granted. It's just that I was always so shy and so nervous at failing that I never enjoyed what I was doing.
And it was probably happening really fast too.
It was happening really fast. Yeah, it was. Yeah. You've got a shelf life, right? When you're young, when you're younger and you want to be a pop star, and this opening, and shit, they've turned you down, or they didn't receive these songs very well. So, now that person don't want to work with you because these songs weren't received. But this person will, when they recorded this person, so let's get in there quick. So you're kind of so like frantic. You're like learning the song on the way to the airport because you've got to learn. It's like it was. Do you know what? It was the most hardest work I've ever done, and I've really worked hard in my time. And it was the most magical experience, but only being now in my 50s that I can kind of look back and go, I wish I'd enjoyed that more, because it was a magical. And it will never be the same again because the music industry isn't the same now. So in the 90s, I was working with probably the most phenomenal writers, producers, definitely in Europe. You know, like people that are just written for finish Take That's album, or Spice Girls, see that Spice Girls album, or Bananarama. These were like 80s groups, you know, and people say, we got a track. There was an amazing singer who I used to have to watch through the crack in the living room door because I was too shy to go into the room when she was on TV. Her name was Lulu. And
Oh my
and,
God.
and then all of a sudden I'm singing in this warehouse and Lulu's sitting on the floor in front of me. And I'm just like, it only kind of, then I started getting, you know, like palpitations and oh my God, that's Lulu, that's Lulu. But back in the day, it was easy. Now, so, I mean, I can sell an album in Ethiopia while I'm having a pee. I mean, it's easy in that way. Do you know what I mean? But back in the day, it was kind of, I don't know, it's beyond different. It's not even a 360. I don't even know how to explain the music industry that I experience now compared to the music industry in the 90s.
Yeah.
You were good, then you were in Smash Hits magazine next to Britney Spears and David Beckham and stuff like that. And you were flown out to do this and you were flown out and people paid for you to wear their clothes in, you know, it was different. Now it's better in the sense that I can make an album, release an album all through sitting on this chair and I can release it worldwide. I don't need a record label. I don't need to be one of those selected in order to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, the experience that, you know, when you're doing road shows with all the people that were, you know, that you were fans of at the time, that doesn't happen as much now because it's all a lot more isolated now than what it was before.
Yeah.
You know, so it was amazing to work with the Max Martin group, and the songs are really cool, and I love them. I love the fact that I sound like a girl in the backing vocals.
Yes.
Because now I have no false, because I've done a lot of work kind of learning opera and classical. Now I don't have much of a falsetto, and I'm like, oh, I was really high, mate. I sound like a girl in that bit. It's amazing. I sounded
You
like,
should put them out. That would be so
I'm
cool.
gonna-
The
yeah,
90s are in a.
MP3, so you can say, nah, Jaden, keep them away, mate. Keep them away. I'll send you them so you can hear them anyway. But
I would love to.
But yeah, it was good times. But anyway, this isn't about me. This is about you. So when did you decide that? I mean, obviously you've always been passionate about it, but when did it go from like, shit, I need to take this more seriously. What can I do to get out there?
Ooh, April 1st, 2008. I was at my second Avril Lavigne concert. I was in 8th grade, and I had, you know, somehow made it up to the very front of the general admission seating at her show. She was playing at whatever the really big arena is in Boston. The name has changed like so many times at this point. But I remember watching her. I'd gone with my dad. My dad had accompanied me. And I remember walking with him back to the car. And I was just like, yeah, I'm going to do that. I want to do that. That was it. That was like the big, like it had been building. And I was just like, there's no going back now. I've been convinced.
Okay, now I could have said at the age of 14, I want to be a bank manager, but I still got to go through this whole process to become a bank manager, which thank God never happened. So how did you kind of, on this particular date, you thought, right, this is what I'm doing. What were the steps that you took in order to achieve opening the door to that casino kind of thing? Like, this is it, I'm on it now.
I started playing shows. I was in a band. I started actually, I'd always been like pretty, for whatever reason, pretty shy and embarrassed to sing in front of my dad and record with my dad for whatever fucking reason. Finally started doing demos in the basement so that I had things to share with people. I got pretty involved with Berklee College of Music as a teenager because that seemed like one of the most obvious things for me to do. Just because Boston doesn't have a very big music scene on its own. Like the whole music, like we used to have a really big ska scene in the 90s, which I'm sure was really fun, but it's been dead for so long. So all the music is really like surrounded by the music school.
All right.
So when I was in high school, there was this email that went out for like a summer camp at Berklee that would have been really expensive for me to pay for on my own. So it was like, you would get a scholarship if you like pass this audition. So I did that. So I started learning a lot more. Like I'd had some piano lessons, but, and I took drum classes in high school. So like I knew about music and I knew about rhythm, but like I hadn't had any sort of like real training. Yeah, real training. And also just being around so many other people who were passionate about it like I was really big and eye-opening. Because I think that was also like the first taste of like, can I handle like not being the big fish in the big pond? Or like, how's that gonna feel? And I ended up really liking it. Like I feel like you can get thrown into a space where you can be either really afraid of all the competition, and I could have had this total moment of like, I suck, I should not be doing this, but instead it was like, I'm more inspired now. And that was the same way I felt when I moved to Nashville. So I kept doing like high school things through Berkeley, like meeting other people. I went to Berkeley as like an actual college grad, was in a band there, and started releasing music while I was there too. And after I graduated, I was still in my band. I really wanted my punk band to work. That was like the big thing that I wanted. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, maybe it was in all of our best interests, it didn't end up panning out. So that was 2018 when we realized we couldn't work, because you were in a group of people, I'm sure you know, being in a very collaborative musical tight-knit thing like that, it's like being married to multiple people at the same time. Yes, I can hear you now. Yeah, it was hard. It was a lot. We were young, so it didn't work out, and I was living at home. I was walking dogs. I was miserable. And all I could think of was like, I need to get to one of the hubs. Like I need to get back to that space where I'm just like surrounded by music and I'm surrounded by other creatives. So I started applying to jobs in Nashville, LA, and New York. And I had a friend that lived in Nashville, so I visited her a couple times. And I lied on all my job applications in Nashville that I lived at her address because I thought they were more likely to want to interview me if they thought I already lived there.
Yeah.
So my friend let me stay on her couch for a little bit. I ended up getting a job at CSAC, which is one of the performing rights organizations. So that gave me the, you know, whole thing I could give to my parents. Like, I have a real job in my field. Will you help me move here? Like, will you like help me move down? Because I felt like I couldn't ask for, I was broke as fuck. I had no money. I felt like I couldn't ask for any assistance without being able to
bring something in to the
without being able to like show something. And that might have been my own pride. Like maybe they would have helped me, or I kind of doubt it. But so I presented them with this and they, you know, helped me move down. And I immediately got involved with the songwriting community. I don't do country music at all, which is really funny because I know Nashville is very famous for country. Yeah, but there is a vibrant community of like pop writers, R&B, hip hop. Like there's so much cool stuff that happens in Nashville that isn't country related at all. So I rarely know what's happening in country, which I find very hilarious. So I started working with a lot of people who were not in that scene. And one of the people I've gotten to work with, which is really crazy to me, is Nick Wheeler from the All American Rejects, because the All American Rejects were my favorite band growing up. Like they were the tip of my emo early 2000s phase, and Nick was actually my favorite member. He's one of the main songwriters, and I thought he was so cute as a kid. I had like the biggest crush on him, which I haven't told him, but if he sees this interview, I guess he'll find out that was true.
I'm gonna tag him. Nick, if you're watching,
just know. But this past year, I like slid in his DMs. We became friends because he lives in Nashville also. There's like this really weird influx of people that were very, like when emo had its heyday and were very prominent in that scene. A lot of them do live in Nashville now. Some of them do make country music. Some of them don't. Some of them are just, you know, still doing their thing. So Nick is one of those people that's here. And we made a 3-song EP. And I'm currently rolling out the EP I did with Nick is the epilogue of the mini album that I'm rolling out right now. So like that stuff will come out after, which I'm really excited about. So that's just been like a very full circle thing of like, no matter what happens with this music, that's really cool and amazing to me that like I got to work with him. And just like a lot of other you know, really kind and talented people that have just made my writing so much better. And just like, I feel that even though the industry is really, really difficult, like it's very difficult to be a creative and stay positive when everything is changing so fast. And it feels really infuriating when things don't, you know, get received the way you want, or even like breaking through that ceiling of things being able to be received at all. Because there's also just so much music, which is a double-edged sword. It's amazing that there's it's amazing that there's so much music out there, but it's also really hard because you're less likely to, or it takes a lot longer to find your audience because there's just so much out there.
Someone said to me, like, you know, I've been a singer for over 30 years now, and was doing really, really well in the 90s, but it all kind of got screwed up by management, and I've never kind of stopped, and I've changed because, you know, I've kind of started doing, because I was pierced and tattooed, started doing classical crossover and a bit of opera because no one was looking like me doing that kind of music. And now living here, I can do everything from mariachi to Dua Lipa. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just sing what I like to sing now. And it's been really interesting. So, you know, if you could give advice, Jay, what advice would you give? And I would say the only thing that's kind of remained the same since the 90s to now is you cannot rely on that shit. You have to do it for the love with zero expectation.
Yes.
Otherwise, you'll end up in a loony bin, mate. Because what one person's passion is another person's poison, and it's never going to go the way you plan. Sometimes you can have the most amazing surprises, and without expectations is when I got the best surprises.
That is completely part of my story too. When my band had broken up and I didn't know what I was doing, I mean, I have diagnosed depression, but I think that was like a big motivator for it, is that like I just felt like a failure all the time, and I'd also lost that joy that I had with music too, because it's like I feel like a failure on top of me just not having any fun. And this is a bad combination. And since
as well, music is so deep for the artist a lot of the time. I mean, you know, you can watch. I was Googling one of the songs that I'd sung. I Googled other people's kind of renditions of it because not many people were hitting on mine, and I thought I'd done quite a good job. And there was this guy, like, I had like 3,000 hits, and this guy like had 2.5 million hits. And I thought, right, I'm going to see what he's doing that I haven't done. And the only thing I hadn't done was prepared a 6-pack for the occasion and took my t-shirt off. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, fuck, because he sounded fucking awful. Like, I was like, I ain't judging you, mate. Do you know what I mean? But no, there's not many notes that are in tune. Like, and maybe people are watching it for the entertainment value. But I don't think so. It's because he was completely fit and bodied.
yeah,
And I was like, rah, that's not the music I remember. Like, don't get me wrong, it's going to happen, even less chance of that happening now I'm in my 50s. But, you know, like, it shouldn't have had to happen either. And I think when you're a musician, I am diagnosed with mental health problems as well. And have been for all my life, you know, like, because you give so much of your inner self to what you do, and you have to battle not only your own insecurities, your own shynesses, your own intimidations and anxieties, even to do something in front of somebody, that when someone is negatively judging you, oh my God, they are ripping at your core, you understand?
Yep.
So it's really not the best kind of industry for someone who is slightly sensitive to pick.
No, and all art.
You can't help it.
With that, it's like a prerequisite to being a creator is you have to feel things.
Absolutely.
Just
with that, you have not always got a say on how deep you feel that shit.
Nope.
You know, so when I started, change it to like, do you know what? I don't give a shit anymore. I'm just being Jaden. When I was younger, you need to sound blacker, you need to sound blacker. And I couldn't sound black because I was a little white boy, right? And I didn't know what they even meant by sounding black, because to me, vocal had no color. It was just Whitney sounds like Whitney, or Jaden sounds like Jaden, blah, blah, blah. So I thought, right, the only closest I can kind of get is a little bit more. And if they said be a bit more emotional or sing a little bit like, back in my day, it wasn't Rihanna, it was like Toni Braxton. So, you know, be a bit more like Toni Braxton. I could do that because I could hear how she how she entered a note and how she broke off in this kind of cryy sound at the end of this particular note, you know, and how she clipped, and by clipping this word gave it so much more intensity. So I learned that. And so I recorded this song, and it was kind of like very Jaden Braxton-esque, because I'm still not going to sound like a black woman, you understand? So I done it, and they said it's really great, and I had to go and master it with this producer, and he went, "Oh, you're a skinny little white boy, mate. You don't suit your voice, bruv." I'm like, I've just been trying for 2 years to sound black, and now I don't suit my voice. Like, what? And it was always those comparisons which eat at you as well. And it was a day I thought, you know what? I'm just being Jaden. Whether I sing Nessun Bleeding Dormer or whether I sing, I don't know, Levitating, or do you know what I mean? Like, I always sound like I know how to play and to use my voice. So I'm going to sing opera and classical way different than I'm going to sing country, way different than I'm going to sing pop, way different than I'm going to sing Evanescence. I don't sound like an idiot going, "I don't think you're ready for this jelly," because I don't sing like that. You know, I can sing, I can style my voice to kind of suit the music that I'm doing. But when I took away that the whole expectation of I have to please everybody, and I lost the whole enjoyment of just enjoying the journey of it by having no expectations and see what comes out.
Yeah.
That's when my mental health recovered.
Yeah, that is it's not always easy, but that's more the route I've been trying to take lately also. Just like remembering also how much I love this, and like if I don't create, I will die. Like my soul will not
Yeah, you can't, you can't stop it anyway, so you go through it with depressed or not depressed. You just have to easier. Be depressed when you're writing because you get some good lyrics.
Yes.
But when you're surviving, doing nothing, then try not to be depressed about it. That's my learning so far. But it's also, you'll go and do some shows. I'm very blessed. You know, I literally do sing for my supper. I sing, 4 or 5 nights a week now, and I earn my living through singing. And it's amazing in different hotels and stuff like that. Not what I wanted to be doing. I want to be doing Wembley Stadium and, different places. But I'm still able to use my voice to be able to not only have fun and to touch people's lives, but also to make a little bit of a living. So this is really cool. But at the same time, you will also sing sometimes, and either no one even gives a shit that you're in the room. And the louder you sing, the louder they talk. So there's always, there's always something as a depressive person that can eat me up in this industry. I'm like, you don't even give a shit. I can't. I'm obviously shit, because if I wasn't shit, you'd be listening. And I've been doing that 32 years, love. So it's still, whereas I go, do you know what? I'm lucky to be doing this. And I'm going to get myself a nice steak when I finish, or a nice stuffed banana. I don't care, whatever I feel like, and that's it. You have to enjoy the journey. That's my biggest regret, is I never enjoyed the journey.
And you just, swipe away at the people that, aren't listening or don't care, and you just, give your love to the people that clearly do, and the people that
I started doing now. This is a good technique as well. Like, if no one's watching me, I sneak onto Facebook Live. So I don't give a shit. Right, looking, I'm listening to my friends.
Exactly. Yeah.
Put my phone next to my computer with my tracks. That's it. This is it. I'm singing to people that care that I'm singing.
Yeah.
So obviously, this has been a bit of a journey for you, and what are you doing at the moment? Like, what's going on for Emily Deranged right now? How are you keeping your pecker up?
Well, I've actually just rebranded too. I used to go by my actual name, which is Emily Rana, and I decided I wanted to have a little bit more separation, for one, with a different artist name, but also wanted to have something I'm very into aesthetics and visuals, and I wanted to have something that more encapsulated what I think my music really sounds like. And I think I really play into this whole me being sadly crazy sometimes kind of thing. And I'm of Italian descent mainly, and my last name is Italian, so I decided to spell deranged with an apostrophe, so it's still a little Italian, just as for myself. And also when I was a kid, my dad would always introduce Emily the Strange sort of thing, and I also feel like Emily the Strange. I also have a black cat. I get told I look like Lydia from Beetlejuice a lot. There's a big goth energy with me. So Emily the Strange, but the deranged version is my new brand. So within that, thank you. I like it too. Within that, I have a mini album called Don't Let This Ruin You that I have started rolling out in June. Hate Me was the first single. Breaking Up was the second. And I have one more single that's going to come out on October 4th called HBD Anyway, Happy Birthday Anyway. That is a true biography of, about me sending my ex-boyfriend a birthday card that he never said thank you for. And then I went into a session like 3 weeks later being like all in my feelings about it. we wrote a song like,
so quite frankly,
if you're not gonna like respond to my birthday card, you're gonna hear about how I'm upset. You didn't respond to the birthday card. But it's a song I really love, and like there's no hate anymore. It's totally fine. But this mini album, Don't Let This Ruin You, I went through a really terrible breakup with this person, and at the same time of me going through this breakup, I had a bit of a I had a mental health downfall, which led to me kind of realizing I needed to give up alcohol and be sober. So I'm like going through this breakup and also this sobriety journey at the same time, and writing for like what turned into this mini album, because we were like, I had sessions scheduled with my producers with the intention of like writing a new project, and like we didn't know what it was going to be until it was done.
Right.
And it was just me documenting like how all this felt, and it was like fucking insanity. I felt like I was
therapy.
Yeah, I felt like I was going through an exorcism, and like, you know, yeah, music was great therapy. So Don't Let This Ruin You is actually something that the guy said to me when he dumped me. He was like, "Don't let this breakup ruin you," and I was like, "That's a shitty thing to say," but also it's a great title for a mini album. Yeah. So it's that chapter of my life, which is really interesting for me because it happened 2 years ago. And I've come such a long way since then in terms of, you know, like healing from this situation. And I was a little nervous about what it was going to feel like to actually start putting it out. Like, am I going to
relive it almost?
Yeah. Am I going to relive it? Am I going to have cravings again? Am I going to like all of a sudden like be mad about this stupid birthday card? Because I want to do the songs justice and like, you know, make the releases and the art around it as authentic as I can. But it's actually been really cool because I still don't feel emotionally involved in that way anymore.
I'm just exercise that demon now, kind of thing.
Yeah, I get to like exercise that like deranged part of me and like let it come out, and it feels more like a fun cathartic thing rather than like, oh, this is scary. Yeah. It's like, no, I love these songs and I'm really excited to put them out, and I'm looking at it more of like, wow, that was a crazy thing I went through. Like, here's the evidence, here's the proof.
Here's the proof. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how have your family heard your EP?
My dad has heard the whole thing.
What was his opinion?
I think he thought it was good. My dad is an interesting person to show my music to because I feel like I'll show him something. He's not very immediately expressive, so he'll just nod and be like, "That's cool." And then like months later, he'll send me a text of like, "Emily, your lyrics, my God!" And I'm like, "Okay, thank you."
My mother was like, "You're bleeding depressing, you are." Because I was started after pop, I was just doing classical, so everything was like, it was Italian and, you know, Spanish, and it was all very, you know, unbreak my heart kind of, but in Spanish, all this kind of, you know, Il Divo kind of stuff. And mum was like, "You're bleeding depressing, I can't listen to that." I was like, okay. My mom
did it when I swear, and the music, I'm still pretty raunchy, but I did a lot of raunchy music before this EP. Like very sexually explicit. I was kind of doing a country parody thing for a little bit where I was in like assless chaps and, you know, just like shit like that, which I love. We're in more of a depressed era right now, so like that's not coming out as much, but when I was releasing that
a bit more tame,
or yeah, maybe, I don't know, definitely not tame, just like a different side is being expressed. But when that other music was coming out, I'd talk to my mom on the phone and she'd be like, "Can I listen to this?" And I would honestly tell her, "You shouldn't." And she'd be like, "Okay."
Love that honesty. That's super cool.
Yeah.
So what plans have you got coming up? So you obviously got another couple of tracks to finish to get your new EP out, but what's going on with you? Live shows, music videos, TV? I mean, what is happening? What's the near future and the plans for the more advanced future for Emily Deranged?
Near future is on Thursday. I actually have a show in Nashville. And it's going to be a sad girl piano hour, actually.
Okay.
Piano bar version of my song. So I'm really excited about that. And then October 4th is when my next single comes out. And I have a music video for it as well, which is going to come out the week after on October 11th. It was filmed in my house. Very sad birthday party vibes.
Okay.
I'm pretty stoked about it. And in November, it's probably going to be November 15th, the whole EP comes out.
Wow.
And I'm going to have a release show here in Nashville. And after that's out, my little project with Nick is currently being mixed. It's a 3-song EP. It's almost done.
Oh, so the music you're not doing now is not the music you've done with Nick. This is separate. You know, Nick stuff's
Yeah, this is separate. I'm one of those people
okay.
who's always making something, even if the thing I already made isn't out yet. I'm still starting something else.
I get
like,
that.
well,
Oh, up for that. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's all happening at the same time. So
Lovely.
this EP that I'm releasing right now it's done. It's been done. And the thing I did with Nick is almost done, so that'll hopefully come out sooner. And I've recently started writing for whatever the thing after that is going to be, which is really fun. I write a lot for other people too. I just love to write. Like that's my main passion in all of this. So I haven't written for myself very recently, but I hadn't been, and I just started again. So that's been kind of cool to see like what is this, like how is this going to translate? What is this going to sound like?
Not pushing myself forward, but if you ever write a duet, you think, oh my God, that would be really good for Emily DeRage and Jaden Cornelius. We could do a remote thing, you understand?
Oh, absolutely. I would be so down. Like a lot of shit I do is remote still. Like my mix engineer, I have 2 of them that I work with. One of them is in Arizona. The other one's in LA. My mastering engineer is in Sacramento.
That's amazing. It's really amazing, actually, when you think about it.
It is. It's really cool. So I would love to do that. That would be awesome.
Okay, so when that comes up into when you have a little creative flash and a duet comes out, think of a brother, okay, in the mountains of Mexico. So
absolutely,
Nick EP is next.
Yes, probably
goals, future plans, how you see in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years of the Emily Deranged project.
Oh my gosh, so much music, probably. Like, I just releasing as much as I can with like whatever budget I can come up with. A friend of mine suggested that I do a queer bar tour across America, which I think is a great idea, and I'm probably going to try to infiltrate that somehow. I love being in the studio though, so I really hope that my plan and my hope is that I'm always going to have to release music under my own name, because I'm always going to have songs that feel personal to me and like maybe too explicit for like other people that want to sing. So I'll always do that. But I love writing. I love being in the studio so much. So my hope is that me releasing all this Emily Deranged music will help me find more collaborators and like people that want me to write for them as well. So I think that's the biggest thing I see for the Emily Deranged era is like being like a studio moniker of just, being able to just write and be as part of as much music as possible.
Perfect plan. Perfect.
Yeah.
But my suggestion is just make sure you enjoy every second of it.
I'm trying. I'm enjoying it right now. I'm really enjoying this, so that counts.
Yeah, this is why I started it. I mean, like in COVID, I couldn't do anything, and I was like, I was saying to probably even on a couple of shows, but I was saying to some friends of mine, singing and entertaining was not something I would have chosen to do because of my shyness and mental health back in the day. It kind of just happened organically, and it kind of continued. But then when it's taken away, it's even worse.
Yeah.
I don't know who I am without it. So I had to kind of find other ways to reinvent. And I lived in Mexico on my own at the time, and I was thinking, I don't talk to anyone in English, and my Spanish is really shit, and I just need to chat. So do you know what? I'm just going to do a chat show, and I'm going to talk to I knew quite a few people that were artists. I thought I'm just going to see if I can just speak to them. And this is my 151st show, I think it is. So I've chatted to and I've got another couple of other shows going on as well, which I'll talk to you about later. But and I was just like, this is like really cool. I just like chatting, and I love meeting creative people because now more so because the industry is very isolated.
Yeah.
You don't get as much of that opportunity to meet another band backstage or to go on tour with a band. And so where do you meet creative people if it's not just kind of chatting to? Like saying, let's do an interview and let's just get chatting. So for me, it was like I had to find another way to recreate my entertaining during COVID and make friends to talk to because I didn't have many in the jungles of Mexico, quite frank. Got enough animals, but they're really crap at Monopoly and they don't talk much. So I was just like, they're always cheating, man. They
don't have good bedside manner.
Always got Mayfair and Park Lane before we've even fucking started. I never know how that goes in Monopoly. But anyway, so yeah, and I wasn't really chatting to people. So I'm like, right, I just need to chat and meet wonderful people and chat about their lives and what they're doing. And yeah, so, and like I said before, even with mental health problems and stuff like that, you couldn't stop even if you wanted to. It's probably the worst career of choice. Because you're so judged for what comes from so deep, but at the same time, you not do it for a couple of bloody months or even a year, and you're in chronic depression because you can't be judged anymore. It's ridiculous.
I've been saying this for so long that I don't think any artist, any kind of artist, chooses to be an artist because it's the worst job to have. It's completely unreliable. It's unsustainable. There's like hardly any stability. There's no money. You get judged all the time. The criticism is really difficult. It's terrible for your mental health. But the people that do it are doing it because they can't not do it. Like there's some like other creative force that is requiring this of us. Like it's not a choice.
Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoy every second of your future journey. And I hope that journey goes on for bloody decades, mate.
Thank you. Me too.
And you're super cool, and you really deserve an absolute fantastic, enjoyable life doing what you're passionate about.
Thank you, Jaden. So do you.
Well, I'm halfway through mine, so I've got less to worry about than you, so we're good. So where can people find you? I keep losing my head on this bloody green screen. I'm going a little eggheady thing. I'm trying to get my head. Anyway, not that I'm vain, you understand. But so where can people find you on social media? Where are you?
I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram and YouTube, all just Emily Deranged. Thankfully, no one else has that name.
Is there an apostrophe in the deranged? Or is it just deranged on social media?
It's deranged, actually. There is no apostrophe. I don't think they let me put that in the handle.
I can't remember.
And I'm on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, any music platform that you can think of, I will be on it.
You are there. Absolutely fantastic. People at home, you've met her. You love her. And I know that before you've finished your cup of tea and your cheese sandwich, you're going to be following her on her social media sites. Please do that. And don't forget to pop over to Spotify and Apple to find Emily Deranged there as well. Emily, you are wonderful. Thank you so much for your time and being part of my show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We will definitely catch up again when that Nick EP's out. Let's chat and do a Jaden So special. It's not easy to say.
Absolutely.
So special. Let's do that.
So special, yes.
You've done it better than me. Yeah, let's do it. Let's meet up and chat about it just before it comes out.
Of course, sounds awesome.
You are a diamond. Thank you so much for being part of my show.
Thank you for having me.
See you later, hon. How amazing is she? I really hope you have enjoyed today's show. I also really hope that you will go across and follow her on her social media platforms as well and check out her music, not only on her YouTube, but on her Spotify and on her Apple Music as well. Go and download those. Show some support, show some love, and help this young lady on her journey. Thank you so much for another wonderful Jaden show, for keeping me company. I hope you've enjoyed it. I also hope that you will, while you're hanging around the internet, that you'll check Jaden Cornelious out and find me on my other social media platforms as well. And while you're on this JCTV, enjoy some of the other shows. Go and check out the J Files or Expats. They're really, really cool shows with cool people. And if you feel that you fit into any of the categories, if you've had a supernatural, paranormal, or UFOic experience, then get in touch. And also, if you're living in another country that isn't at the place of your birth for whatever reason or circumstance, and you want to talk about it and share your experiences, get in touch. You could be on one of those shows too. You take care. Have a blessed new week, and I will see you very soon for another wonderful edition of the Jaden Show. You take care. Stay beautiful. Bye-bye.
I haven't seen you in a while, I know. Last time I heard from you, I hung up the phone. It's getting easier to let it go and forget that you knew me. I put some distance in between, so I might stop rehashing everything that you type. We got some trauma no one can deny. Maybe I should set you free. I'm breaking up with the old me. Laid to bed the rest of my grief. We had our fun, but honestly, we both knew the end we were gonna meet. Grown up is a bitch and we can't bitch about it. We swore it'd be different, but what made the difference was cutting off my ties with your sick maladjustments. God, I used to need them, but now I don't. I guess what we've been through is not unique. This kind of heartbreak happens to everybody. Some get stuck and others manage to leave. Write a eulogy for 'em. I'm breaking up with the old me. Lay to bed the rest of my grief. We had our fun, but honestly, we both knew the end we were gonna meet. Grown up is a bitch and we can't bitch about it. We swore it'd be different, but what made the difference was cutting off my ties with your sick maladjustments. God, I used to need them, but now I don't. Breaking up, oh, 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 breaking up. I'm breaking up with the old me. Lay to bed the rest of my grief. We had our fun, but honestly,